Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. There's been a new study released that states that alien DNA is being found in some humans, actually, people who claim to have been abducted by aliens in the past. And so now it seems that now scientifically we might be able to prove that these aliens are manipulating our DNA. Now, this actually is different from, in my mind. This what this study claims. I mean, this would be different than what I thought was going on in the past, because basically these are regular people. Apparently, their DNA has been manipulated somehow and there's alien DNA inserted into it. If this study turns out to be correct, even the guy who heads the study said this is inconclusive at this point. It still needs to be peer reviewed. So I guess we'll see as time goes on. But there was an article in the Daily Mail about it. We'll get into that in a second. But I think that this is different. Like David M. Jacobs, he's been someone who has written books about this, about the alien abduction and hybridization program, right? And in these books, it's he doesn't talk about this, about people who are abductees getting their DNA changed. What he's talking about in his books, like Walking Among Us and The Threat, he's talking about how these beings are creating these hybrids using sperm from men and the eggs from females. They mix it with alien DNA. They impregnate a female unknowingly. She's impregnated for a couple of months, and then they bring her back in. They abduct her again, and they remove the fetus, and then they take care of it from there, and it grows into a half alien, half human being. And apparently now some of these, according to Jacob's research, some of these are, he calls them hybrids, because you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, right? They look just like human beings, and then they're placed out into society. And he contends that what's happening is that a female will end up going with a regular old human, who's not doesn't have alien DNA, and have offspring, and then the offspring creates basically hybrids. It'll be a cross between a human being and an alien. That's what he presents. That's his hypothesis. But this sounds different to me, because this sounds like they've been doing things to the abductees themselves. In addition to using them for hybridization purposes, it seems like they might be actually changing their DNA in the process as well. That's if this report is true. I think that's what it's stating, but we'll go through the article and figure it out, I guess. Here's the headline. It says, "Scientists finds evidence of alien DNA in humans." It says here, scientists claim to have found evidence of alien genetic manipulation in human DNA, with large sections of genes seemingly inserted into people, potentially affecting millions of humans. If confirmed, the discovery could fundamentally alter our understanding of human evolution and the future of the human race, said lead researcher Dr. Max Rempel, the founder and chief executive of the DNA Resonance Research Foundation. Yeah, let's stop there for a second. Yeah, I'm sure it would fundamentally alter our understanding of human evolution if this turns out to be true, won't it? Because that could possibly mean that we've been getting manipulated since for who knows how long, since day one maybe. We have no clue if that's what they're trying to say here. Anyway, the article continues. It says, the study, which has not yet undergone peer review, analyzed DNA from both ordinary people and self-reported alien abductees. In an examination of 581 complete families from 1,000 Genomes Project, Rempel found large sequences of DNA in 11 families that appeared to match neither parent. These anomalies include a cluster of 348 non-parental genetic variants, some of which were from children born before 1990, ruling out human gene editing technologies such as CRISPR, which only emerged in 2013. So it looks like these people who have manipulated DNA, and now it shows that they have alien DNA. Maybe what's been going on here is it's been going on since we started doing these kinds of things. So who did it? Obviously, I would say the finger here is pointing to these creatures, these alien beings, this alien presence that's here among us. Up to what, we really can't say. Anyway, continuing here, it says, Rempel cautioned that his findings are preliminary and require more rigorous analysis. No conclusive evidence yet, because we need better data sets, which are available only on approval. That takes time and effort, he said. Nevertheless, he believes the implications could be staggering. Humanity may be undergoing genetic transformation. If confirmed, it could be possible to detect which humans carry alien DNA, essentially identifying hybrids, he explained. So the future, if this turns out to be real, if this study is reviewed by his peers and they come to the same conclusions, then maybe we'll be able to figure out who the hybrids are among us by testing them, doing DNA tests. Now, again, this collides somewhat with the hypothesis put forth by people like David Jacobs, because again, he's saying that they've been already out there. These hybrids, these half alien, half humans. You wouldn't be able to tell a difference. They're already living among us, and they're having babies with just ordinary humans, and then this way that's how it's working. Is that what's going on here? Perhaps. And I mean, if it is, it just raises a lot of questions because, say, where does a hybrid, for instance, if you did a family tree on a hybrid, how would you know where they came from? I mean, it would have to. They were plugged into our society somehow, unknowingly to us, and they have a phony history set up for them too. I mean, how would that work? Are the aliens did they think about this when they were establishing this program? There's a lot of different questions that come to mind here. Are these abductees having their DNA manipulated on top of being part of this hybridization program, or is it all the same thing somehow? I guess I'm a little bit confused if this turns out to be real. This was going to raise a lot of other questions, I would have to imagine. Continuing with the article, it says the researchers' hypothesis resonates with fringe theories long circulating among UFO enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists. Some have suggested that alleged alien-human hybrids exist, citing examples such as the so-called Nazca mummies, which purportedly contain both human and alien DNA. Rempel's findings, while not conclusive, could lend scientific credence to these theories if validated. However, both NASA and the United States Pentagon have admitted that alien life does not exist. NASA and the Pentagon. They've admitted. I guess they're under a lot of pressure. Okay, we'll tell you. Yeah, there's no such thing as aliens. We have no proof of it. Okay, yeah, we just supposed to believe that. Come on, we all know that they're lying, right? We all know it. Anyway, continuing, it says, in addition to analyzing publicly available family DNA data sets, Rempel reviewed 23andMe results from individuals who self-identify as alien abductees. He found that some families showed strings of non-parental markers, though others did not. Rempel noted that current commercial genotyping services, which rely on array-based data, are insufficiently precise to confirm such radical claims. Instead, he advocates for next-generation sequencing, or NGS, or whole genome sequencing, or WGS, which can detect novel variants with much higher resolution. According to Rempel, if he can access DNA from parents and children who self-report as alien abductees, high-resolution sequencing could definitively identify alien insertions. Let me just stop here again. And what does it mean? What happens? Okay, say that this is real, right? What happens if we discover that there's some people here living among us, millions upon millions of people living among us that have alien DNA in their system, their makeup, right? Their genes are it's a combination of human and alien. What does that mean? It means I guess that means we just move forward and we're being taken over slowly, we're being absorbed slowly, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. I guess that's what it means. Because what are you going to do? Anyway, continuing here, it says he suggested that future studies might reveal astonishing possibilities, including humans developing unusual abilities such as telepathy as a result of genetic modifications. Yeah, as we all know, the aliens, that's one of their big attributes, their ability to use telepathy to communicate. Continuing here, it says, Rempel emphasized the need for high-quality, non-cultured genetic data to avoid artifacts caused by cell culturing. Most public DNA databases contain old data from cultured cells. Culturing can produce genomic changes, so we cannot treat these results as proof, he said. Moving forward, he hopes to secure funding and access to public DNA repositories for further research. And I wonder what the government would think about this, What would they think about this program to do further research on whether it was to find out which humans have alien DNA in them and which ones don't? And then what do you do about the ones that do have alien DNA? Or is that just the way this is? Or maybe this is how it's been going on for centuries, for maybe, who knows, maybe tens of thousands of years. This is how what's been happening. We've been slowly getting manipulated. Maybe that's what explains evolution. Right? We think we come from apes, but we were actually helped along into the current form that we are find ourselves in by some outside force, right? Maybe that's what's going on. While Rempel's work remains controversial, he insists it is driven by genuine scientific curiosity. He has a PhD from the Institute of Gene Biology, but is known for exploring unconventional fields, including DNA resonance, which investigates subtle fields around human bodies. Skeptics, including UFO researchers, have urged caution. Nigel Watson, author of Portraits of Alien Encounters Revisited, highlighted the small sample size and the inherent challenges of studying self-reported abductees. Alien abduction experiences can stem from a variety of terrestrial factors. We need to carefully verify these accounts before drawing conclusions about DNA, he said. Watson added that technical errors or unknown biological mechanisms could also explain the anomalies. Well, why don't we get to the end of this study and have it peer-reviewed before we start, poo-pooing it away like it means nothing, like a lot of these people love to do, like a lot of these debunkers, or what do I now call them, moronic, scared, and or lying idiots, MSLIs, okay? Anyway, continuing here, it says, despite the skepticism, both Rempel and Watson agreed that further genetic research involving volunteer abductees could provide groundbreaking insight. If proven, this would be as world-shattering as recovering a flying saucer, Watson said. Yes, I would have to agree with that assessment. Yes, it is. It would be if we find out that our DNA is made up of more than just human DNA. It's made up of alien DNA in some cases, in millions and millions of cases. For all we know, it could be every single one of us. How do we know? How would we really know? He noted that a high percentage of people with neurodivergent traits, such as autism, ADHD, and Asperger's, could potentially carry these genetic insertions, though this remains speculative. The study underscores the urgent need for rigorous, high-resolution genetic analysis. Rempel has expressed interest in collaborating with families willing to provide DNA samples and pay for sequencing. He believes that such research could definitively show whether extraterrestrial forces are influencing human genetics. In the meantime, Rempel continues to advocate for literacy in alien hybridization and DNA resonance, suggesting that understanding these phenomena could inform major decisions about humanity's future. We need to consider how much alien hybridization is healthy for the planet and which alien races we might give priority, he said. Now I don't know what he's talking about there. We give them priority? I mean, they're whatever priority they have is what that doesn't matter what our priority is. It only matters what their priorities are, right? I mean, how can you stop it? I mean, this has been going on for decade after decade, right? We've been hearing these kinds of stories, alien abduction stories, right? How many of these people have actually had their DNA changed, if that's what's really happening? Well, I guess we'll find out as time goes on. If this report turns out to be actual. I mean, was their DNA changed by the aliens themselves? Did they start off in life with regular human DNA, but something changed as they had more and more meetings with these creatures, and the creatures did something to them, changed the genes in their system somehow? Is that what happened? Or are there hybrids living among us for longer than we suspect? And perhaps this explains what's going on, right? What if a lot of the people from our past, from who knows how long, right, how long ago, have been reproducing along with just regular, ordinary humans, and this is the result. Now we're starting to see the results. Is that what's going on? I don't know. It seems like they're most certain. These creatures are definitely up to something when it comes to this, though, right? I mean, based on all the research by people who talked with alien abductees, put them under hypnosis, right? We know that this is what's going on, and we know that it's real, right? We see the creatures now. We have the evidence of just the same kind of creatures as reported by these people who say they were abducted. We see them in certain different kinds of videos, like the Turkey UFO videos, as well as in the Vegas alien videos. We see them. They're real. So this is really happening. But here's the question. What are they doing? Is it something beyond this hybridization program, creating beings that are living among us that look just like us and we can't tell the difference between them? Or are they doing something more? Are they changing us as we live? We start off as one thing, but they're doing something deliberately to change our DNA. Are they doing something like that, like CRISPR? Like some of the things that we've been doing, human beings. If we could do it, obviously these advanced creatures could do it as well, I'm sure. So I guess that's what we got to find out. And what does it all mean? What does it mean if that is the case? I mean, what do you do? Say half the world, right, has alien DNA in their system. What do you do? Well, I guess you can do it, right? Some of us would be half alien, half human, and some of us would just be ordinary humans. Do we have to start checking everyone to see who's an alien and who's not, or who's part alien and who's not? And what does it all mean? I guess that's the whole question. Are they absorbing us over a period of time? Is that what it's all about? And at some point, everyone in this whole planet will be part alien, and that's how they conquer us somehow. I don't know. That's basically what Jacobs contends in his books. I guess we'll find out when this thing gets peer reviewed, if it does get peer reviewed. I'm sure there are a lot of scientists who just want to stay away from it. Probably just throw some name calling and hurtful comments toward this group of scientists and say they're crazy or stupid or something to that effect, and just leave it go at that. Maybe that's what we'll do. Ignore it. That's how we usually handle things, right? Anyway, I want to get caught up on the recent Spotify polls, and we're going to start for the episode, what if the extraterrestrial plan involves guiding 3-Eye Atlas toward Earth to start things over? I asked this question. Does NASA know there's an extraterrestrial / non-human intelligent presence on Earth and is deliberately withholding this knowledge from the public? 38 votes so far with 15 days left. Only 5 people, or 13.2%, say no, while a majority, 33 people, or 86.8%, say yes. I obviously agree with the yeses on this one. Yes, NASA most certainly knows, and they've been most certainly lying about what they know for a long time. I don't think it's their fault. I think they're forced into this position by the Department of Defense, which is now being called the Department of War. But they've been forced into this position by the Pentagon, and that's why they lie. They have no choice in the matter. And so if anything ever pops up on any of the videos, they scrub it, they remove it. They don't want you to know about it. It's all part of this cover up. It's okay for them to know about it. It's not okay for the rest of us for some reason. It's okay for the Pentagon to know that there's something here with us. It's okay for NASA to know, but we're not allowed. The regular people, the taxpayers, we're not allowed to know for some reason. They can know, not us. We're too stupid to know what's going on, according to them, in their minds. But they definitely, most certainly know. And I totally agree with the majority on that one. Okay, for the episode, Overlords of the Insectoid Aliens, who or what is pulling the abduction / hybridization strings? I asked this question. Are the tall insectoid aliens responsible for launching the abduction program, or is there an intelligence above them that's responsible? 18 votes so far with 19 days left. Okay, 4 people, or 22.2%, say the insectoids are to blame, while the majority, 14 people, or 77.8%, say the insectoid overlords are responsible. So most people here in this poll believe that there's something above even the insectoids. As we all know, according to all of alien abduction reports, from a lot of them, right? The little grays drag people onto the craft. They just do the menial labor. The tall grays, the tall thin grays, they're the ones who do the medical procedures. Sometimes the reptilians are there to help out, to lend a hand as well. But the insectoids, the tall praying mantis, ant-like creatures, they stand back in the shadows overseeing the whole thing. And they seem to be the smartest ones. And they also seem to be the ones that have the most power telepathically, right? So most people believe, though, that there's something above them, too, that's pulling the strings on this one. There could be some sort of an intelligence that we don't even know about, maybe. That maybe there's some intelligence from some other world that created these beings, created these intelligent insects, right? And sent them here for this very purpose, to create this a world of hybrids. Maybe that's what's going on. There's something we don't even know about yet. I guess maybe we'll find out someday. I doubt we will, though. Okay, for the episode, 2 weird-looking agents allegedly scared the Las Vegas alien witnesses into silence. I asked this question. Is the story about the agents a genuine account, or was it contrived by people interested in discrediting the event? 19 votes so far with 19 days left. Okay. 5 people, or 26.3%, say it was contrived, while the majority, 14 people, or 73.7%, say it was genuine. Yeah, I'm going to agree with the majority again, because I do think I think it is genuine. This could turn out to be a hoax at some point down the road. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think that this was genuine. Whoever these people were, or whoever this person was, knew a lot about this case. They would have had to do a lot of homework. I mean, the fact that I was able to figure out that this relative, right, does. He told me where he came from, right? Wouldn't tell me his real name, but I figured it out that, okay, yeah, there is such a relative that does live in that area of the United States. I think it was genuine. Basically, his concern was that the families are terrorized. They've been getting terrorized. They're afraid to even talk on their phones, and they're afraid to talk about this, actually, even in their own house, because they don't know if they're being bugged. I mean, that's how bad it seems. That's how bad it is for these people. That's how scared they are. And I think that there is something to it. You know why I think it is? Here's another reason. Because I know that incident really happened, and I know that there has to be an effort to cover this up. There obviously is. They're trying to suppress that case. There's no question about it. So yeah, I agree with the majority. If it turns out that it's a hoax, well, what does that mean? Okay, that means that some people are trying to discredit this story really, really, and are taking all kinds of really, really drastic measures to do so, right? That's what it means. And so, yeah, no matter what happens, right, no matter what the case, it doesn't do anything, it doesn't hurt the story, it only helps it, right? So, yeah, I think it was genuine anyway, so that's where I'm at with it. Okay, for the episode, Vegas Alien Case Put UFO Control Group and Debunkers Between a Rock and a Hard Place, I asked this question: will George Knapp ever come around on the Las Vegas alien incident? There's 28 votes so far with 20 days left. Now, of course, I mentioned during that episode that, and I actually played a little clip from him talking about it, like he gave up on that case because basically it sounds like because they weren't answering the door and a couple other reasons, but I don't think he should have given up on that case, and I think if he were to absorb all of the evidence associated with that case, he would reach a different conclusion. I can't see how. I don't see how anybody could actually sit down and absorb all of the evidence associated with that Las Vegas case and walk away thinking it was a hoax or there's nothing to it. I don't see how that's possible. It's impossible. That means they're either, I don't know, you'd have to be really dense. You'd have to be extremely dense, right? Or lying, one or the other. But I don't think George Knapp, I don't think he knows all about this case, because it has been getting suppressed. I mean, I'm only one little channel out there in a sea of channels talking about UFOs, and for all I know, he doesn't even know what I've been talking about. He has no idea, probably. Maybe he only saw a couple of those reports on News Nation when Scott Roeder appeared on there. For all we know, maybe he never even read those Fox News articles that were on Fox News Digital last year. I mean, but if he did, and I mean, if anybody did, I mean, basically it comes down to this. It's an intelligence test. It really is. I mean, if you look at all of that stuff and you walk away thinking, oh, it still doesn't prove it to me, well, then you just flunked your intelligence test. That's where it's at. I think George Knapp will come around, though, someday. But let's see what the people say. Okay, only 10 people or 35.7% say yes, while the majority, 18 people or 64.3% say no. I'm going to go with the minority on this because I do think that he will come around at some point in the future. I think George Knapp is no dummy, obviously. So I think that when he does absorb the totality of all the evidence associated, he will walk away knowing for a fact that there's no debunking this story and that it really did happen. Okay, and then for the most recent episode, Theory, the Hopkinsville Goblins were physical NHI-created avatars to test firearms. I asked this question: what theory best explains the Kentucky Goblin Spree? 14 votes so far with 23 days left. Okay, let's see. I had different kinds of choices here. 0 people said alcohol/drug hallucinations. Yeah, that had nothing to do with this case, despite what some debunkers might say. 0 people say owls. Yes, owls had nothing to do. There were 11 witnesses. Again, count them, 11 witnesses, right? Said they saw this weird creature. If it was an owl, one of them would have recognized that it was an owl. It wasn't an owl. Just because some debunker who wasn't there 30 years later determines it was an owl, a great horned owl, that means absolutely nothing. That means nothing. That person just making stuff up. That's what that means. So yes, 0 people rightfully picked owls. 0 people also rightfully picked mass hysteria because that's not what it was. I mean, you look at that case. If you had one witness who saw some kind of a craft landing nearby, and then you had 11 other witnesses him and plus 10 other witnesses see the creature later on, and they were shooting at it with a shotgun and with 2 different shotguns and also a 22 rifle, and it did nothing. The bullets did nothing except bounce off this thing and made a sound like they were hitting metal. That's all that happened. So yeah, it wasn't mass hysteria either. Okay, 1% or 7.1% says hoax. Like I've indicated in previous shows, there's always one. There's always one. Okay, 3 people or 21.4% say that this is my hypothesis, alien weaponry test. That's what I think it was. I think after looking at this case, I've come to the conclusion that that's what it is. I agree with that one right there. 4 people or 28.6% say alien psyop, and that was a previous theory that I toyed with, but now I've changed my mind on that. And the majority of people, 6 or 42.9%, say other. Okay, what could other include? Well, other could be, maybe it was just aliens, landing and they're trying to be friendly, and these people were shooting at them, I guess. I don't buy that one, but I mean that could fall under other because I don't have that in there as a choice. I just see, here's the problem with that. I mean, I can't imagine, okay, if you say you're watching an episode of Star Trek, I can't imagine, Captain Kirk and Spock and them landing on some planet where there could be hostile creatures and they just walk up to them with their hands up. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? I don't see that happening in any of these episodes. No, they always have their phasers at in their hands when they land on a new planet where there's possible hostile aliens living, right? I mean, so no, I don't think that's what it could have been, but some people might think that. I don't think so, though. I think that that they were trying to figure out human reactions. I mean, how quick does it take a human being to go reaching for their a shotgun, right, when they see something like this? I mean, I think there was a lot of different things that they were doing there, testing. They're testing our weapons to see how damaging the weapons can be, stuff like that. That's what I'm starting to believe. To me, it makes the most sense after really thinking about this case. And I've known about this case a lot. A lot of us have known about this case ever since we got interested in this UFO subject, right? So I would have to imagine that after going through all of the different kinds of possibilities, this one here to me makes more sense than any of the other ones. It doesn't make me right? That's I'm not saying that. I'm just saying to me it makes the most sense. Will we ever know for sure? Probably not, unless the actual aliens responsible make an announcement on TV and show us old film clips from 1955 that they filmed showing what happened. That's about it. Outside of that, we're probably never going to know. Anyway, I just want to say this. I want to say thank you all for joining me today. Until next time.